I was wondering if you're okay with me asking some questions about your experience. Are you okay
Yeah.
talking about that? Have
Oh yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was year 2010, right?
Mhm.
And it was what kind of a mine it was, if you know, actually.
So it was actually a improvised explosive device.
Uh-huh.
So it was a IED, and that's what the Taliban they used a lot of was IEDs.
Mm-hmm. So you said it nearly killed you. Um,
Mhm.
if it's okay, if I ask, what injuries did you receive from that explosion?
Yeah, I'll actually kind of give you a little story about it if you got time.
Of course, all time
Yeah.
this evening.
So it was 2010, and we were in the Chutu River Valley, on the border of Helmand Province and Uruzgan Province, and we were clearing out the valley of what we had heard was about 2,500 Taliban fighters. Um, and our mission kicked off September 11th, 2010. And so my ODA, or my Special Forces team, our first objectives were this southern village called Sartutu.
Hmm.
And we had been fighting Taliban there for a few months already, but a couple days before the mission, it was quiet. There was nothing, and now, no animals, no nothing. That's a bad thing. That's a
Hmm.
really bad thing. Um, so we started our infill. It was about 9 p.m. We're moving towards Sartutu, and now as we're moving in, now all of a sudden it's midnight. Now it's 1 o'clock. It's September 12th, and we get up to within 25 meters of it. We put in our gun position like you're supposed to, because you need overwatch with the heavy weapons in case you start to get engaged from the compounds. And then now we're getting ready to send our assaulting force down to clear the compounds. So Overwatch is set in. We have our, connecting fires between our two crew serve weapons. Now it's time for the assaulters to go down, and our assaulters were being led. We had trained the Afghans to, you guys are going to be leading the way. And we got to, like, okay, let's get the assaulters ready to go. Okay, let's just like we practiced, just like we rehearsed. Let's clear compound one. And we had the whole village broken down into sectors. Numbers of the number, each building was numbered: compound 1, 2, 3. You know how it goes. So we're going to clear compound one. We're going to get a foothold in there. We're going to set up our antennas and our radio equipment and everything so we can communicate. And then we're going to move on through the village. Well, I turned around and the Afghans are like, nope. uh-uh. So, well, what do you guys mean? And it's still noise and light discipline. So you're whispering and you're pointing and stuff. And they said, no, that's too dangerous. It's like, well, yeah, I know. That's why we're here. Yeah, it's probably really dangerous. And they said, no, you go first. You're better trained. You should go first. I was like, well, yeah, if we were in Texas, I would, but we're in Afghanistan. And you guys want your village back, and we're trying to help you get your village back. You've been trained. Let's go. No. So I turned around to tell, my counterpart, like, hey, man, these guys aren't budging. They're not moving. And he grabbed me by the shoulder and he said, hey, what is Nick doing down by that compound? And Nick was our interpreter's name. I don't know his full name. It was very difficult to say, so we just called him Nick.
Uh-huh.
And I turned around, and through my night vision, I could see Nick was down at the main entrance of this compound, or we call it the breach point, and he's trying to wave the Afghans down like he's the Afghan Rambo.
Mm.
And I was like, and he's our only interpreter. If we don't have an interpreter, we can't communicate with our partner force. And when the bullets start flying, if we can't communicate with our partner force, then it's going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And so he was like, go get Nick away from that, from the breach point right now. So, I was like, oh, crap. So I started moving down And, I get up to the breach point and I grab him by the shoulder and through some soldier language, I strongly recommended with some F words and some other stuff quietly that he moves back to the position because he's putting his life and everybody else is at risk. So I grab him by the shoulder, I pull him away from the breach point. Well, you never want to have your back exposed to the unknown, and what's behind those compound walls, I don't know. And so I turned so that I have my weapon system at least covering down on that breach point, doorway, whatever you want to call it, so he can make his move back to the unit, and then I'll do my tactical withdrawal back to the guys. We'll reorganize, and then we'll give it another shot. Well, something in the compound moved, and I thought, oh, I'm going to kill this dude. And so I took a step inside the breach point or the doorway, and boom. Mm-hmm. And so I remember this flash of light. And then I remember I was laying on the ground, and I started, like, the very first thought that came to my mind was, I can't breathe. Like, I can't breathe. Why can't I breathe? So I kept trying to stand up, but I kept falling over. And so now I'm getting pissed. So I take my rucksack off, and I'm trying to stand up again. I can't, but there's no pain yet. There's no pain because I don't know what happened. And again, I'm talking over minutes. This is all seconds. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but I'm laying there and I'm like, okay, calm down, control your breathing. And there was this mixture of like dust. It was really dry that month. And there's dust and there's ammonia from the explosive and all kinds of stuff. And it's like, okay, slow your breathing down. What happened? And by now, it's about 4 a.m. So so it's getting light out. The sun's not coming up, but you can kind of see. It's at that point where you're like, all right, I can kind of see what's going on around me a little bit. And so, I'm like, okay, all right, let me figure this out. The dust is clearing a little bit. And I looked down and my boot was at a 90-degree angle to my leg. And I remember I was like, well, that's really weird because your mind can't comprehend that kind of damage to your own body. You're not used to it. Everybody, we don't all go out and step on landmines every day just so we can train our mind to react to when we step on a landmine. Yeah. So I'm looking at my leg and I'm looking at my boot, and my boot is at a 90-degree angle to my leg. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And so I reach behind my right knee and I pull my leg up, and my boot flops over to the side, and the heel of my boot hits me in my hamstring. Oh. And I look down my pant leg and I see these two pearly white objects sticking out of my pants. And I was like, what is that? And then it hit me. Literally, I stepped on a mine. I stepped on an IED. And then the pain, oh my God. Once my mind registered that that's what happened, holy shit. The pain was like a semi truck. It just blasted me. And I just laid there and I was like, well, what do I say? Like, I don't even know what to say. And then I was like, oh wait, tell people you're hit. I'm like, I'm hit. So I started to get my tourniquet out. And I'm trying to put it around my leg, and then the ambush kicks off, and so now there's gunfire, and guys are returning fire, and I'm just like, well, I'm gonna die here today. And so I remember laying back, and this is weird. This was a crazy thought, but I remember laying back, and there was this eagle flying above us, just circling. And it was the chaos that was going on the ground. Our overwatch positions, our gun positions on the other side of the river. Everyone had opened up on the Taliban that were trying to move in on us and get as close as they could, because if they get close to us, we can't drop bombs on them. Mm-hmm. And so, and you have aircraft engaging the Taliban position, stuff like that. And out of all this chaos, I remember looking up, and so, at that point in time, I was saying my prayers. I was asking God, for forgiveness. And I was looking back on my life, and I was like, man, I don't really like who I was. you know, and I remember looking up and there's this bird that was just circling over me and all the chaos below, all, you know, everything that was going on. Me, you know, I'm seeing this puddle of blood, and I looked up and it was like, you're going to be okay. Yeah. And then the first guys of my team got to me, and apparently I didn't put the tourniquet on tight enough because they really cranked it down. But I had lost quite a bit of blood. And it was just, it was a very, I don't really know how to explain it except for it was kind of like an out of body experience. And I'm not, you know, I am a religious guy, but I'm not going to go there with people on here. But I do believe that that bird, that eagle that was flying above me was a message like, hey, I got you, man. And so one second. Okay, back. So that moment that I had and that pain that I went through, I knew that I was going to dedicate my life. Not at that point, but when I got to Ukraine, everything that I went through that day, September 12th, 2010, it all came back to me of why I was going to dedicate my life to making sure that that one child didn't have to go through that pain that I went through. So,
yep. Wow. That's a hell of a story, Ryan. And thank you for sharing. It is something that definitely deserves to be written in a book. So this is awesome that you have written that. What is your book's name?
Oh my gosh. Tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear. I got it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing the story. Wow, this is something that should be in a movie too, because I mean, I don't know, it sounded very, very interesting, and very, you know, not just interesting, but it has a meaning in it. And the puzzle that you've told us after the story, that when you went to Ukraine, the puzzle collected, you realized that moment led you to that moment, like the moment of 2010 led you to 2022, and that's how you found your purpose. And this is something I don't know, that's a mind-blowing story that is so meaningful, and it is so damn meaningful. I don't know what to add to this, Ryan. I really am amazed. Thank you very much for sharing, and that's something new. That's kind of new experience for me, to be honest. to have such conversation. Thank you.
I had no idea, laying there along the Helmand River in 2010. I had no idea what that injury was going to do for me, and how that injury was going to change my life for the better, and how that injury was going to be used to hopefully help so many. I had no idea. At that time. And then I got to Ukraine, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. I'm tracking now. And it took 12 years, but that injury happened, I believe. So I could fully understand the dedication and what it's going to take to you have to be invested in it. You have to be invested in this. If you do mine removal to make money, you're going to be sorely disappointed. If you come out here for the excitement, that goes away quickly, especially, if an injury or something like that. You have to understand why you're doing it. And it's so those innocent, women and children and the civilians, they don't have to go through that same pain that you did. They don't have to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's why, I've dedicated, my life to even that one child, that's going to have that chance at, living their life. They could go outside and they can walk on both legs, and they're not going to have their life completely transformed forever by an explosive device. That's why I do what I do, and everybody on my team. So my story, everybody on the Tip of the Spear team, they all have, we call it an Alive Day. So September 12th, 2010 is my Alive Day. The day I should have died and I didn't. Every single guy that's with our team, they all have an Alive Day. Some guys have multiple Alive Days. And
Wow.
those are the guys that we really look for, whether they're American, whether they're British, whether they're Australian, whoever. It's the people that have a passion to remove these hideous explosive devices, so you save that one person from having to go through what you went through. I'm no different. I'm just telling you my story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my stories running around Ukraine right now trying to help people. There is.
Yeah. You're totally right. And only through your personal experience you fully understand this, I guess. This is why you look for those guys, because they fully understand, and they have that need to prevent of something similar happening to other people, I guess. This is
Yeah.
actually the point of it. Wow. I'm really glad that you uh, pointed it out, and that this is some, giving me some new thoughts and insights. So thank you, Ryan. I also wanted to ask you if you're okay talking about this too, because it might be a touchy subject. As you have probably also written this in a book, you probably processed that. So I will ask you, and if you don't want to answer, please don't. How long was your rehabilitation? How hard was it, and what have you experienced and probably realized during this? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was blown up September 12th, 2010, and I was released back to my unit um, late November 2012.
Uh-huh.
So, or no, correction, late November 2011. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
And then I was in Afghanistan again, March 2012. Um, so the rehabilitation part is where I actually learned the most about myself.
Hmm.
And it's also a story. Well, not a story, it's a lesson that I want to share with a lot of these Ukrainian veterans that are coming back, that their lives are changed forever,
Mm-hmm.
forever. They're missing limbs. Their lives have been shattered by this war, a lot of them by landmines. Um, and the message is this. So I went through a very dark time in my life. I went through a time in my life where I actually thought if I wasn't here anymore, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And that's a dangerous thought.
Yeah.
That's a very dangerous thought. And so my dad had a conversation with me when I was in the hospital. He said, look, son, you're going down a very, very dangerous path right now. We need to have a conversation. Okay, Dad, he's dad, but he told me, he said, look, man, you're at a fork in the road. You're at a point in the road where there's two paths you can go on. He said, the injury that happened to you is bad. No one's going to deny that.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad, and it changed your life. Is it the worst injury in the world? No. Are you the last person that's ever going to encounter this injury? No. But it was bad. And you can and you can sit here and you can let this injury become you. And nobody's going to blame you for that. But let me tell you what's going to happen, and you're on the path right now. So you are going to victimize yourself by this injury. You're going to start to push people away because they don't understand what you've been through. They don't understand what you did for them. They don't understand how close you came to dying, for whatever cause it is, whether it's their freedoms, liberation, or whatever. They don't understand it, but you're going to try and force people to understand you. And when they can't understand you, what you're going to do is you're going to start to push people away from you. You're going to become so victimized by this injury that you're going to start to push people away from you because they don't understand you. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to become entitled to your injury. You're going to start to believe that you're owed something because of your injury. People owe you this. I deserve this. And as you become more entitled, your victimization is going to continue to grow and grow until you have basically alienated everybody around you. Nobody can talk to you. Nobody can help you. Nobody can hug you. Nobody can do any of that because you have isolated yourself from everybody because nobody understands you. Your victimization and your self-entitlement because of your injuries. And then you're going to start to numb the pain using either alcohol, drugs, or something else that will help take your mind off your pain and your misery and your victimization. And you're going to continue to do that until that no longer serves you. It no longer helps. And then you're going to do the ultimate and you're going to kill yourself because you cannot go through that path and come out the other side and be fine. There's no way you can do it. An entitled victim that you seclude yourself and you suffocate everybody around you until you're all alone. And then you're going to choose to do the ultimate one night. Or you can take this injury that you have. You can use this injury to make yourself stronger. You can use this injury to make yourself a better man. You remember all those things you were laying there along the Helmand River and you're praying to God and you're like, wow, I am not happy with the man that I was before this injury. And I'm going to die here today, not happy with the man that I am. You can change all that. You got the golden button. You got the reset button. Most people don't get this in life. You can change all that. You can make yourself a stronger man. You can renew your relationship with God. You can use this injury to make you stronger to help other people. That's the key. If you use this injury to make yourself stronger so you can help other people, you are going to live a fulfilled life because you did not become a victim of this injury. You use this injury to make yourself stronger to help others. And I must be a really dumb guy because it finally all clicked for me in Ukraine. And that's when I was like, oh, this is what Dad was talking about. Mm-hmm. That was one of the conversations that I had in one of the darkest moments of my life. And now, I didn't wake up like right after the conversation. I wasn't, wow, I'm a changed man. Let me go out and save the world. Mm-hmm. That's a huge pitfall that people from trauma fall into is they overcome one major obstacle and they think like everything is supposed to be good now. Life is supposed to be easy. I overcame it. I stepped on an IED. I stepped on a landmine. I had something bad happen to me. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of cancer. I'm a survivor of this traumatic incident in my life. I did it. I overcame it. Life should be easy now. This is good. And then you get hit again and you get hit again and you get hit again because it's life.
Yeah.
That's why you can't become a victim because the victim mentality will make you entitled. And that is a very dangerous path to go on. And those were the lessons that I learned from my injury.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing. Secondly, your father is a wise man, damn it, to tell you all that. It is something very, very wise and damn, that's awesome. I really am happy that you said all these things about victimization. about the dark path because it's all the real thing, and it's all gonna be
Mhm.
very, very, actual here in Ukraine because we're gonna have a lot of injured people. We're gonna have a lot of veterans who's gonna be, unfortunately, some of them are gonna be, fallen into that pit, into that abyss,
Yep.
and
Yep.
we have to, as a society, we have to try to at least try to help them. To provide them help, professional help of psychotherapists, and of course, there are different techniques with fighting PTSD too. This could be implemented, but it shouldn't be just some humanitarian initiatives. It must become a governmental thing. Like it must become
Mhm.
spread wide along the whole country. It's going to be a huge challenge, and I'm really
Yes.
happy that you've overcome that, and that you are here today in Ukraine helping us and actually sharing this experience with other people. And I really think that there is a still huge potential in your work, and in also probably in this field too. You can share this experience with people too, not just your demining experience. You actually mentioned that too, I guess, and I guess that's another purpose that you might have and fulfill.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, one of the things we're working on with the Ukrainian government as an NGO is the Ukrainian veterans that are coming back from from a lot of the experiences that they have, and they're coming back and they're looking for that purpose. They're battling those demons. We want to give them the ultimate purpose, and that is taking back your okay. You took your home back from the Russians. Now let's take it back from landmines, and
yeah.
let's give these veterans the purpose again. And we'll be one organization that Ukrainian veterans, they can get trained up on demining, and then we go back and then we take Ukrainian lands back from the other enemy landmines.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I agree with you.
This is this is so inspiring. Thank you, man. I really am inspired right now and also touched by a story, and I think it is given given everyone who's listening right now the understanding of what is happening, um, you know, beyond, and also inside, and it's just yeah, a big thing that is usually missed, and we usually talk about some technical stuff about equipment, and I think it's very important to talk about emotions, to talk about challenges in life, and it's
Yep.
something that I really appreciate, and I'm happy that we could talk about this, man. Thank you, Ryan.
Me too.
Thank you for watching, guys. Please like this video, leave any comment under it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can also check the previous part here, and you can become a member on my base here or Donatello here. Both of them are Ukrainian analogs of Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Thank you, and live long and prosper.